Hey guys, cold day in Walla Walla, and today we're going to continue where we left off on the Gemsbok bow. Right now, the only thing that I did to it since the last video is I tillered it while it strung the right way. Right now it's strung backwards, and so we have a bow that's tillered without sinew, just the Gemsbok is tillered. And now it's ready to be sinew backed. So the first thing I need to do is get my sizing coat on. So over here I have hide glue in a coffee cup, about 1 part hide glue, 5 parts water. Then I have the hot water in the pan around it. And to size it, dip it in there, dip it in there, dip it back in there, make it watery, and you just paint it on really good. And we'll do a couple coats like this and let the horn soak it up so the glue doesn't get taken out of the bonding between the sinew and the horn. So I'll do about 3 watery coats and 1 coat of just the stuff I have in the cup here, which is thicker. And I'm also going to coat these areas on the sinew bindings, which are going to be overlapped with the vertical sinew, and I'll wrap over it again so it doesn't lift off. Alright, so there's one limb. I'll get back with you guys when I have this thing ready for its final coat of thick hide glue. Forgot to mention that I'm also sizing the handle here, so I'm getting that coated well. Alright, so our first bundle of sinew is going to be right in the center of the handle right here. So I'm going to pick the longest one I got. Alright, and then I'm going to squeegee all the water out. That came off, just put that right there. Alright, so now you have that. Put it in your glue. Make sure to get both the ends. You have it saturated in the glue, and you squeeze the glue out like that. Put it right on the bow. And what I use to smear the sinew down with is paintbrush. See right here where it kind of folds, you don't want that. So take that out. And I'm going to have this going right down the center. So I'll position it here. Then I'll take my paintbrush. Use my finger to stick it down. I don't know if my glue might be a little too watery. We'll see. But all this paintbrush is doing is straightening the fibers, thinning out the bundle. You just want to make sure that Sinew's making good contact, especially right here. Alright, this center bundle has gelled up a little bit, so I'm gonna put on the next two. Make sure to squeegee out as much of the water as you can. And then squeegee out as much of the glue as you can. And right here, I'm going to overlap it about an inch. Can't see. See, that's overlapped right there. Lay it right down the center. Smear it down on top of the other bundle. And then continue down the bow. And that is how you lay down a bundle. And then I continue down. Make sure to keep it in the center of the limb here. And I'm going to continue all the way down the limb, and I'm going to come up onto the knock piece, probably about an inch, half of an inch, and I'll show you that when it's done. Alright, we're going to start on the sides of the limbs now. All you do is start in a different order. Since you do not want two bundles terminating next to each other, you stagger them. I'm going to start this one in the middle, run it down. Spread it down. Make sure all your bundles contact these fades really well. Alright, I'm going to get another one. And make sure to overlap over your last one. Now you just continue on down as you would with the center bundles, and you make sure that there aren't any gaps. That's about it, and I'll show you when I have this layer done, and then we will wrap where the bundles terminate. Alright guys, I have this first layer on here. As you can see, it covers just about every bit of the horn except for the very edges, which eventually will get covered. Alright, the backing has gelled up, but it's not completely dry, and we are now going to reinforce the areas where the sinew can lift up and cause problems. So I have some soaking in here, sitting in the cup, just single strands of backstrap sinew, which is longer than the leg sinew I've been using. So I'm just going to put one in my hide glue. To start on the fade here, and I'm going to build up this area where it's not a very smooth transition, and it's also going to hold that on there. I'm going to try to do it fairly tight. I used only one strand of backstrap sinew just below where I wrapped it last, and that's eventually going to make it a smoother transition here, and well, it's going to look a little less bulky when I wrap the rest of the handle. So I'm going to get to reinforcing the tips now. So I think for this I'm just gonna do the same thing and wrap it right where the limb starts. And that's really the only place it's gonna want to lift up. And I'll wrap over the whole thing after the very last sinew application is done. And that'll keep the bulkiness down and the weight on the tips down. I think it'll just work better. As you can see, that's plenty good enough to keep that from lifting up. So yeah, that's it. When I do the other tip, I'm just going to smear some glue on here, not a lot, just a little bit, and hang it up to dry in a warm place. And this is the end of the first video. The second video probably be about a month or so. I'll see you guys then.